I want to talk to you about a concept that a reason is not an excuse. I think it's really important to keep that in our minds when we're dealing with dysfunctional people. And that is that we often try to figure out why. When somebody's acting in a way that we wouldn't act, or they're acting in a way that is causing us a problem, that is harming us, harming the relationship, harming themselves, or harming other people that we care about, we look at their behavior and we think, why would somebody do that? Why are they doing that? Why won't they change? Why won't they see that this is harmful? And we try to figure it out. So we're answering that question, why? And often we come up with reasons like, oh, okay, they've got a disability, or they've got a mental illness, or they've got had a bad childhood, or went through trauma, or they were abused as a child, or maybe they have ADHD, or they're just irresponsible, or they've got a temper, or they, were given everything as a child and now they don't understand somebody telling them no. So they're a very demanding person. So we look for an explanation. And I think it's really important to have an explanation as much as you can reason it out and try to put some understanding to that. Because for one thing, if you're dealing with dysfunction, in order to make good decisions for yourself about how to respond and to make decisions about protecting yourself and decisions about what you can do and can't do in the relationship that's possibly going to make a difference. Like, can you expect this person to do certain things? What do you expect this person to continue doing? Well, pretty much what they have been doing. So understanding the reason is important. Now, you can't technically diagnose somebody with narcissism or diagnose somebody with a particular problem. And even in AA or Al-Anon, often they'll say, the only one that can call an alcoholic is the alcoholic or is the addict. But we can look at behavior, we can look at patterns, we can look at similarities and learn things about those issues that we think a person is struggling with, because we have a right to be able to understand what we're dealing with and what's impacting our lives. So it's good to get knowledge. It's good to understand what's going on, to give it a label. It's also good to try to figure out what's the reason, like I said. But we don't want to excuse the behavior. There's a difference. Understanding the reason is kind of like the cause. What is the cause of this behavior? What's the root of it? Where does it come from? And that's where we have compassion. Yes, this person struggles with a mental illness. Yes, this person struggles with the trauma from their past, or the person was abused as a child, or had a very tumultuous upbringing, didn't have security, didn't have anyone to take care of them, had to take care of their siblings and their parent, their mom maybe. So yes, we want to have compassion for what this person is struggling with, for the difficulties, for the limitations, but we don't want to excuse what is going on. We want to recognize that even when people have struggles, even when they have limitations, they do have options. They have options to get help. They have options to get therapy. They have options to get understanding about themselves. They have an option of trying to figure out why they are doing that and how they could possibly make some changes. People have the option of being honest in the relationship and admitting that they know that they have problems instead of refusing to admit they have problems. So recognizing the reason, knowing what you're dealing with, and possibly figuring out maybe why this person is doing it gives you compassion, makes you not hate the person, makes you not look at them necessarily as just evil or just wanting to hurt you or hurt other people in their life, but a person who is hurting and struggling and had pain in their life, in their past, in their present, has obstacles that they have to overcome. But it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse to hurt other people. It's not an excuse to be irresponsible. It's not an excuse to not be honest. It's not an excuse to not get help. It's not an excuse to not do what is needed in order to not continue to cause damage in their own life and in the lives of those that are around them. So keeping that in mind, remember, a reason is not an excuse. Proverbs 19:3, one of my very favorite verses, is a man's own folly, folly meaning sin or weakness or problems, a man's own folly ruins his life, and yet his heart rages against the Lord. In other words, and it's not just the Lord, a person's heart often rages against other people, maybe even against you, blaming you for the problems when the problems are of their own making. So recognizing that a person does not want to look at their own stuff will end up blaming it on you or blaming it on other people or circumstances or God, when really the solution is to look at themselves, own it, and get help for it. Galatians 6:2-5 says, carry each other's burdens, and then it contrasts that for each should carry their own load. Burdens is that which is above and beyond. It is something that is so heavy that you need help carrying it. And we are to help each other carry those burdens, but each of us is to carry our own load. And the connotation in that scripture means backpack, like a knapsack. So each of us carries our own backpack, our own knapsack with our own stuff in it. And we're responsible for that. Other people can help us with the really heavy stuff as much as they're able, but we're each responsible for our stuff. If somebody has problems, if somebody has a difficult childhood, difficult life, difficult, if they have limitations, they need to get the help that they need in order to deal with those in a way that does not negatively impact other people. Remember, a reason is not an excuse. Thank you for watching these videos on Change My Relationship. And I hope you'll watch more and get some more tips and tools for your difficult relationships. Thank you.